the launch conductor in mission control, we pause at this moment in our countdown to remember and honor the lives of each of the participants on the Celestis Memorial Spaceflight. Their presence on this flight signifies a commitment to the opening of the space frontier shared by all of us. We wish the friends and families present today and all those who are with us in spirit all over the world Godspeed, good luck, and our thanks for allowing us to share this very personal time with you today. Elsie out. 5 vehicles armed. 3, 2, 1, fire. Missile away.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Celestis mission update. Wow, what a week! There's a lot to talk about, but before we do that, I'd like to extend a heartfelt congratulations to our company, our teammates, and of course the families and loved ones of individuals who actually soared this week on the Excelsior flight. There were a couple issues that happened during the flight, but it was a flawless flight, but getting there was the hard part. So we have a lot to talk about today. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Kobe, who is the president of Celestis, who many of you who were on it, who came out for the Excelsior flight probably have met. I'm sure you have. And of course, our wonderful CEO, Charles Chafer, all on site in Las Cruces, New Mexico, as we speak for yet another launch. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Hey, Mark.
How's the weather?
It's nice.
Is it? Yeah.
That's nice.
No humidity or anything like that, right?
No. It's a little warmer than Lompoc, just a little bit.
A little warmer. Oh, yeah, of course. New Mexico. Just be aware that there might be slight internet issues with probably all of us this evening. Just bear with us. If we kind of pop out, we'll pop back in when we can. But other than that, if you have any questions whatsoever on the flights, on the missions that we're going to discuss tonight, go ahead and get those questions queued up. There is no such thing as a stupid question, bad question, lousy question. We will answer them all. So without further ado, hey, Charles and Kobe, can you guys give me a report? Since I wasn't in California with you guys, can you give me a report on how Excelsior went? Who wants to take it first?
Charlie, you want to take it?
Excelsior went perfectly. We put 106 folks into orbit. Not an easy thing to do. We had couple of launch delays, which are endemic or inherent in space flight. One of them was due to backup from a previous flight. Then there was a communication cable that broke, went snafu'd on it, and the SpaceX team fixed everything, got back on the range schedule, and launched at about 11:48 p.m. Friday night. So we're here less than a week later to do a second mission within a week, which is certainly a record for us. But Excelsior is in the books, and people know that their loved ones are orbiting overhead every 90 minutes now.
Wow, that is awesome. This is the fastest turnaround, I think, anyone. I don't know how you guys, with the delays, how you guys were able to recover so quickly to get out to another state. Luckily, most of all of, both these states are closer to the West Coast or closer to each other than coming in from our home port of Houston. How about you, Colby? What did you think about Excelsior, and everybody happy?
Oh, yeah, very, very much so. The way we pulled it off is we were planning them both at the same time. We had to. As we get close to a launch date, probably 6 weeks out, every week we have things that we have to do to be prepared so that when we get 1 week away from launch, we know everything's buttoned up and we're ready to jump on the airplanes, or in this case, jump in a truck and drive. But over the last 6 to 8 weeks, every week we were planning both of these flights and getting ready for them. So we have a fantastic team. They're very versatile. They're agile and flexible. We were able to pivot at every time something popped up. We were able to pivot. We always have plan A, plan B, plan C, and plan D. We live in the rocket industry, so we know that, and so we have to plan for it. So when we get a delay, that's not a shock to us. It's not obviously what we want to hear, but we totally understand the world that we live in, and we plan for it. And so our team just did a fantastic job in the planning phase, and we were able to pivot, and we had a good turnout. I mean, we lost as every delay came, we lost a few families, but we still had a really good turnout on Friday night, and it was really exciting and again rewarding for the team to see the faces and hug the folks that remained to see Excelsior launch. So that was it was a great launch. It was a great event. We got lots of kudos on the memorial service. The Babcock Winery was fantastic. We had 2 really good guest speakers and Wally Lang and Andy Wolfritz, I believe his name is. But those guys were awesome. They really brought another dimension to our memorial service and really explained what is happening. Wally explains what's happening on the spacecraft, and Andy was explaining what's happening on the console. And it was just a really value-added piece to our memorial service, and a lot of people appreciated it. So a lot of events. I mean, the memorial service was on the Monday, the launch is on the Friday. That's okay. It worked out, and it was just really good series of events. And again, credit to the flexibility and the agility of our team to be able to land in Houston on Saturday, turn around, and then be here. Like we just got into town last night, this morning, and all day today. We set up for the Aurora Memorial Service. So that's all set up. It's ready to go, and we're ready to get Aurora launch now.
Well, good. So let's move on to Aurora.
Let me. Well, before you move on, let me wrap up Excelsior by saying why people come. Liftoff 11:48 p.m. Night turns to day. There's a fire in the sky that you can trace all the way through first stage burnout. You see second stage ignition, which produces a unbelievable, colorful. There's actually a photo of that second stage ignition as we saw it from the ground. And of course, all of it is accompanied by the powerful noise, the rumble of the rocket. And then, of course, everyone saw the first stage return, lights up the sky again, lands, and a big double sonic boom. Wow. So it was an amazing visual experience for the folks that attended. And, rocket launches are special. And they go when they're ready, and we let all of our fans build some flexibility into your schedule. Look at the folks that are down in Boca Chica today, waiting for the Starship to take off and watching their conversations. Well, I'm a 6-hour drive. Do I go home or do I stay? It's just part of the ritual of being able to see these amazing machines take off.
Wow. Yes. And that's incredible. And I'm glad that ours successfully went off. And I'm also doubly glad to know these families got to see what, we as the staff have seen prior to this. And we say beforehand that it's such an event. It is such a vision, especially a nighttime launch, which is always my favorites anyway. And I'm just happy that people actually got to see that. As Tony
And
McCoy.
let me add one more thing, Mark, not to
Sure.
interrupt, but
Hey, no
you
problem.
can go to the Celestis YouTube channel, and you can watch the Excelsior flight. You can see everything that I just said, and the video ends in a double sonic boom, which is very cool.
Yeah, it is fantastic. So we'll put the website address up as soon as our crew gives me the link for that, and I'll go ahead and display it on the screen. But is it safe to go to Aurora now, Charles?
I think so.
Okay. Aurora flight.
We've
which
celebrated Excelsior and Aurora. You know, this is version 2, Rev 2 of Aurora, and it's it's an example of why space is hard and why it's really so rewarding, so difficult to achieve, and yet we're going to put 120 souls into space day after tomorrow, return them, and return a flown flight capsule, say that 3 times, to all of the families who will have a wonderful keepsake and remembrance of their loved one flying. So this is a neat mission. The first attempt was in November. That was kind of triple difficult because we had the payload not ready, we had high winds, and we had the crew getting COVID. So it was not an easy mission for that reason. But everybody's back, everybody's healthy, everybody's ready to fly on Friday. And, everybody who's here is going to get a wonderful tour tomorrow of literally go on the launch pad and meet the founder and president of Up Aerospace, Jerry Larson, who will conduct a personal briefing 25 feet away from the rocket. So that's something to really look forward to as well.
Yeah, those briefings are fantastic. Very educational. You get a real-time feeling of what it's like to do what the crew does. Up Aerospace is a great crew. Those guys are just fantastic. They know what they're doing. And to get that close to the rocket during that time is really kudos. So there's a lot of information, folks, that'll be coming across the screen. Please take note, but also realize when you don't have a lot of time, you can re-watch this video as soon as we sign off. You can re-watch this mission update in case there's anything you may have missed. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, anything whatsoever about this flight and any of the other mission updates that we're going to give you this evening, you might want to do that now. Okay, if you got it in your brain, go ahead and type it in. And when Charles is finished giving the mission update, we're going to go through those questions and answer them as much as quickly as we possibly can for you. Charles, where do you want to step off now? Are we still talking Aurora?
Well, that's really the main reason we wanted to do tonight, was to anybody that had a last minute question on Aurora, feel free to ask. But I do have we have an update on the Enterprise and Tranquility flight, which everyone will remember our deep space and lunar missions, which will be launching on the CERT-1 mission of the Vulcan launch vehicle. That was originally scheduled for May 4th. As I think everyone knows at this point, ULA encountered a significant hiccup in testing the second stage for the Vulcan rockets, called the Centaur 6. They actually destroyed one in testing, I guess maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Obviously, you want to do that when you're on the ground. You want to make all the errors before you try to fly. They're in the midst of a review of what happened. and a fixed plan to be developed. The latest news that we have, which we shared with all of our families on Enterprise and Tranquility, is they're now looking at a June, July timeframe for a launch. But I'll caution, as I do always, that until they actually say we've identified exactly what happened, I think they're pretty far along from I had a discussion with our ULA contact today. So we'll probably be hearing a more definitive schedule fairly soon. And the minute we have that scheduled, we will let people know. So I think, you know, we're that's the news. And if there are questions that we
let's see. So far, here we go. We got one here from Jody who asked, could high winds and weather alerts we've been having delay the launch on Friday, of course, for Aurora?
Sure. Sure could. Absolutely.
Go ahead, Charles.
Well, just yes, winds are an issue. They're probably the only weather issue that exists out here but we have to watch them, and airspace vehicle is what's called an unguided vehicle, meaning that there's no onboard ability to steer it once it launches off that rail and gets to Mach 6 in 2 seconds. You can't steer it. So if the winds aloft are too strong, they will literally blow the rocket into a direction it's not supposed to go. So that is the only, I think, the main concern about Friday's launch. And all we can do at this point is monitor and report.
You gave me an education once on why we launch early in the morning in New Mexico. Can you explain that to our audience of what the differences are for early morning launches and so on?
The winds are always the calmest here in the morning.
Right.
Always is, of course, the wrong statement, but predominantly the reason that you choose, and we're at a pretty high altitude here also, but the reason that you choose a morning launch, and T0 on Friday, which is launch time, is 8 a.m., is because the winds are at their most benign at that point.
Right. So that's great. Fingers crossed that our chances are very good that we'll have a successful launch, 8 a.m. on Friday morning. Any more questions? Go ahead and pop them up. As for Aurora, and I know you're giving out as much information as you can for this flight before we move on, do you have any instructions, again, for some that may have missed it, on loading time from the hotel?
Yeah. Our 10 have it Celestis come and choose, right, and you then choose agenda, and you'll see all of that information. The buses will load and leave about 2 p.m. tomorrow for the launch pad tour. They will load and leave about 5 a.m. Friday for the 8 a.m. launch. It takes hour and 15 minutes to drive a bus from Las Cruces up to the Spaceport America, and we want to be sure we're there in good time so that everyone has the ability to see the launch on time.
Yep, and I'd like to make sure we tell our attendees to dress appropriately at 5 a.m. Time. I'm sure you're going to be up by 4 probably in time, and I have no idea what the temperature is going to be out there in New Mexico.
Temperature be in the low 50s on Friday morning.
Okay, for me, the Floridian, that's freezing. We evacuate the state. Anything under 70 degrees, we're out of here. So make sure you dress appropriately for, even though you're on a bus, you're going to get off the bus, and It's going to be not 8 a.m. when you get off the bus. That's launch time. So, you know, it's still going to be early and it's going to be a little chilly. So make sure you dress appropriately for that. The link is on here now, guys, if you want more or concise information on the Aurora flight and how you're getting there and what to expect. Okay. Where do we go from here, Charles?
You know, if there aren't any more questions, I think we've transmitted all of the information we wanted to get out there. So maybe we've done a good job on educating everyone.
Yeah. Again, the link to watch the launch remotely, and what's the plan for Friday in terms of are we revisiting a service again for tomorrow? Oh, he froze again.
No, we already did the memorial service in November. We're doing a small service for the people that are coming for this version, but we're not going to broadcast that. You can catch the launch itself about 1 hour after it occurs, and that will be at the same link that was just on the screen, which is events.celestis.com Aurora. And then once you get to Aurora, you'll see how to navigate to the video of the launch. We will post that about an hour after it's done. We aren't webcasting it because we're not allowed to do a live launch with our agreement with UP, and they're wonderful hosts, but they have a rule that says they don't permit live webcasts. So we will have it up at about the 1 hour mark post launch.
Okay, go ahead, Kobe. Sure.
There may be a caveat to that I just want to throw out. So we're on the Aurora event page. It's going to be under the events. That's where you'll be able to find it. So under the event tab is where you'll be able to see it. To be able to upload it within an hour of launch, it's going to depend on the quality of the internet that we're going to have at Spaceport America and the size of that file. So our goal is to get it up within an hour. If something happens, if we cannot get it up due to the internet connection or the size of the file is too large, if we can't get it up within an hour, our backup plan will be to come back here to the hotel where we'll be able to download it fairly quickly, and our backup goal is to have that up no later than noon on that day.
Excellent. That's fantastic.
Noon Mountain Time.
Yeah, don't make me do the math.
Right.
Okay. Mountain Time. That's great. It's great. So you guys will be able to witness that. James has a question, which I'll let any of you guys answer, and I'm going to say it exactly the way he typed it because I love his accent already. He's got to be from the South. It goes, will y'all have a meeting like this with an update on the Enterprise launch? If so, how early will y'all know about launch day? I hope I did that good for you, James. I hope I honored you well on that. Anybody want to take that one? You guys still with me?
Yeah, I'm good. Charlie, did you want to take it?
Sure. We'll have several meetings pre-Enterprise and pre-Tranquility live streams. The launch date we'll know, I'm certain, at least a month in advance. And our standard way of communicating launch dates is the very first thing we do is we post it on our website, www.celestis.com. And it says scheduled launches. So go there and there is no better information available than that. We do that first. Second thing we do is we send a email to all of our participant families and anyone else that signed up to be informed of the Enterprise or Tranquility flight. We also watch to see who's opened that email, and we resend it if you haven't opened it. Then finally, we'll do a lot of, this will be a very heavily media covered event because of all of the Star Trek personalities that we have, because of where we're going to the moon and to deep space. So there'll be a ton of pre-launch media that will also talk about when the launch date is. But first with our website, second with an email from us. Obviously, we post on all of our social platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Again, the minute that we have a date, the only date that we pay attention to is the date that is provided to us by ULA, United Launch Alliance, who are the operators of the Vulcan Centaur rocket. There will be, again, there are all kinds of websites out there, from privately operated ones to federally operated ones, and they're all going to have a variety of dates because that's just what they do. We only transmit the dates that are delivered to us by ULA because they're the folks that actually know when it's going to fly. So we are your best source. We are among the first people informed of any launch date, real changes, because we're a customer, and we are able to provide that information near real time. So pay attention to us as we start getting near the launch. Again, we don't know when that is right now. The Centaur 6 troubleshooting committee is finishing up their work. Then they have to fix whatever went wrong, and then they'll be prepared and tested, and then they'll be prepared to launch. So stay. And we monthly Facebook. So the May Facebook Live obviously will have up-to-date information on Enterprise and Tranquility.
Excellent. And James says his wife is on board for that flight. And James, firstly, from me, I can't wait to meet y'all. That's the best I can do. Okay. Any other? Oh, someone had asked. Where was it? Oh yeah, it was the live streaming. Tony said no live streaming. Is that with all launches? Typically,
no. Only Spaceport America Up Aerospace launches.
Yeah.
As you saw Friday, SpaceX did a magnificent live stream. ULA will do a magnificent live stream. So it's only with our Earthrise service from Up Aerospace. But again, we can upload. We'll have it up before anybody else does. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's true. And Tony, we're in the middle of the desert, and if you've never been out there before, we're surrounded by mountains, and to get a signal in and out, I think Verizon is probably the only best service, but that's sketchy too. So it's best to upload it when we know it'll be perfectly fine when we do.
We've purchased Verizon hotspots specifically for that reason, because we know Verizon has the best service out here. So the team is doing everything we can to get the best service possible. And so like Charlie said, we will have that. The Aurora launch will be uploaded as quickly as it possibly can. But
right.
Yeah, I know Tony has a brother on Enterprise. I've talked to her a couple times. Hi, Tony. All is good. ULA is going to do a fantastic job of live streaming that launch.
Oh, excellent. Okay. All right. Okay. What else do we have to cover? Any questions, please, guys? Go right ahead and type them about any launch. Someone had asked, I remember passing by one, any updates on Destiny?
No. We will, as I think I said this last time, we'll begin talking about Destiny just as soon as Tranquility is launched. We're trying to handle these missions one at a time because we're doing so many these days.
Yes.
So
yes. This is a history maker right here by how many
Right.
flights that we've been doing this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hang in there. I think that was Ken that asked that. I think that was
Okay.
his name.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Well, like staff has says, not yet. In terms of Earthrise, we still have a few guys. We can take any questions that you guys may have concerning this Friday's launch or Enterprise. Of course, Tranquility, which I deem as both Enterprise and Tranquility, like Charlie had already covered, is going to be a history-making event in itself. And we all gear up. You know, we handle all of our upcoming flights in the same level of thoughtfulness as we do, you know, any one of them. So just because we're talking about Enterprise and Tranquility is just because it's a big one. You know, it takes a lot of thought and hands to handle such the crowds that we're expecting to come out for this one as well. What is she saying? Oh, thanks a lot, Tony. She says, I drive through New Mexico a lot. My cricket service works great. Just in case any of your people have that. Well, I have cricket, had it for about 20 years, and I'm gonna tell you, I had a hard time getting a signal out where we launched from, Tony. So you may have driven through New Mexico, but you ain't been where we've been, lady. It's a hole. Let's see. No one else as of yet. Colby, what did you think about? I'm losing my brain here. Vandenberg Space Force Base, shall I say? We've never launched from a quote military facility. Well, I haven't been at a launch at a military facility. What did you think about that area? And can you give us an idea, because that launch site is on the coast as well? Is it more inland? Is it like a Cape Canaveral layout? What did you see? How was it going across the ocean? Give us the dirt, man.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we couldn't be on Vandenberg Space Force Base proper. Our launch site was set up at the Lompoc Municipal Airport. Still great view. We were approximately 3 miles away. Space Launch Complex 4 was on the other side of the hill. We could actually see the lights on what we call Slick 4. We could see the lights as they were getting ready to launch the rocket. As far as Cape Canaveral versus Vandenberg, Cape Canaveral is kind of out on an island where Vandenberg really isn't. It's just on the coast behind well, at least where Slick 3 and Slick 4 were, behind a set of hills. It was amazing. So we had some a marine layer roll in. When Excelsior launched, we got a really good view for about a second and a half. Then it went behind this marine layer for roughly 4 to 5 seconds, and it lit the marine layer up and thereby lit everything up in that valley. Like Charlie said, it was like daylight for a few seconds. It was truly amazing. You could hear the gasps coming from the family members that were seeing this unfold in front of our eyes. 4 seconds later, give or take, it pops out of the marine layer, and you can see it as the rocket started to make its way south. We had a great view, and we were able to watch it for not a minute. I don't know exactly how long. It seemed like a long time. We were able to see. We watched the rocket as it continued southward. We could see that, like Charlie said, we could see stage separation because it was so dark up there. And as you see that, it was was really fortunate. We were very fortunate. The night launch did not disappoint. It was beautiful in every shape, form, or fashion. You know, we were kind of concerned about the marine layer, but it added another depth to the beauty of the launch. Wow. And you know, and everybody that was there had been there for probably pretty close to a week. So when, you know, when ignition happened and we saw the light on the other side of the hill, you know, that's ignition. And just, you know, a second later, you see the rocket, and it was closure for all. It brought that overwhelming sense of closure for the families. It was I would say for me personally, it was closure. For Excelsior, we've been working on Excelsior for a very long time, trying to make it perfect for our families. So it was a sense of closure for me and for Celestis overall, that we had a great like a series of events. We had a great memorial service. We had a great launch. It was a lot of work and to get to that point, and meeting with the families was fantastic, and to have that as the cap, you know, this beautiful rocket launch as the capstone event for this year, it was remarkable. It was just awesome. I'm glad for the folks that were able to stick around. They sure were treated to a beautiful sight, but it was still just as beautiful to watch it on live. It's like Charlie said, SpaceX did a phenomenal job on the live stream. So I had family members watching from Houston. We had friends watching from Florida. Everybody that I know was staying up, you know, to see Excelsior go, and it did not disappoint. It didn't disappoint.
I tried to stay up for that, but my God, by the time it went off, you know, I think I was going into my second realm of sleep. You know,
it was probably 2:48 your time, I think.
Yeah. But I caught it in the morning. I caught the replay when I got to the office in the morning, and was just dumbfounded by what I saw. Do you know what the name of the drone ship was called? Because I don't. I'm asking, what was the ship, Charlie or Kobe?
Charlie, you want to take it, or you want me to take it?
Ask the question again, Mark. You broke up.
What was the name of the drone ship? Because one of the most exciting parts of a SpaceX flight is the reusable.
We actually landed on land. We did not land on a drone ship. We landed about 1,000 yards away from where it took off.
Yeah. Okay. So it landed back on land before. So that's fantastic. One question. Actually, we have two.
Well, real quick, I want to address that question. There was some confusion on whether. So we were on the Maverick Space Systems Indoor 2, and there was some confusion about whether that deployed or didn't deploy. That was not a satellite that deployed. That was an assembly that was attached to the Falcon 9 stage 2, the second stage. So the Excelsior flight is attached to the Falcon 9 second stage.
Got it. Okay, awesome. Here we go. For Tranquility, this is from Paul. Paul says, for Tranquility, when is the last? I didn't know if our team had answered this as of yet. We hate for you to do this if you have to do it, Paul, but it said, when is the last we can cancel our ticket, depending on when the launch is eventually scheduled?
I think our refund policy is up to 2 weeks before the launch.
14 days, yes.
14 days prior to launch, before the launch, okay?
Yeah.
And Pat Lee, great last name, Pat. Pat says, once we locate the link for Aurora, will we be able to forward it out to multiple other users? Absolutely.
Yes.
As many as you can, Pat.
Yes, yeah. We highly encourage you to do that.
Yes, as many as you can, Pat. It'd be great. You can also pre-advertise that those folks will be getting those links, so they'd be prepared for it as well. And of course, our team has responded to Paul's question 14 days prior to event. We hate to know that you may have to cancel, but we understand that things happen. And as for Pat, our team also says yes. Please share! Major exclamation point. Once again, guys, any questions It's getting very interesting questions the entire time. I'm really happy for that. But I want to make sure that everybody is satisfied with any trepidations they may have floating around in their brain and their schedules. Family members who may not want to come attend the whole 9 yards. Open those questions up so they will be able to answer. If we do not get to your questions or can't, that question came in late, maybe after broadcast ended or whatever, we're around 24/7 basically for you to answer questions. So just send them along and we'll go ahead and retrieve and give you an answer for that. Wow, all of Iowa? I can't wait for that one. Okay. All righty. Anything else, Charles, do you think?
No, one thing, I was thinking about Aurora, and I wanted to, as I said, we'll be putting 120 folks into space, most of whom are flying to space for the first time. We do have a unique honoree on Aurora. He's Apollo astronaut Philip Chapman.
Oh, wow.
Who was selected for the Apollo program as a scientist astronaut.
Right. Yep. He'll pop back in shortly, folks. Give him time. It's the internet service he has where he is.
And he was never able to reach space. So wife Maria Singh will be flying him twice to first on Enterprise.
Okay. You broke up there, Charlie, but I assume what you said that Philip Chapman will also be on the Enterprise flight as well as this week's Aurora flight.
That's correct.
Good God. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I was startled. Yeah. All right. That's great. But the biggest white herring just flew by my window in front of me right now, and I thought I was headed up for a flight. So sorry about that.
I see an answer showed up that said hopefully about a month. Can you tell me what the question was?
About the Enterprise flight. When will we know the definitive date for the Enterprise flight? Our team responded hopefully within a month of the flight.
No, what I want to say is that we'll have more information in about a month. I'm not sure we'll have a launch date within a month.
Right. Okay.
So I don't want that people. To confuse people.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're on our list, you'll receive an email the minute, well, maybe 2 hours after we know.
Yeah. Yeah. And once again, let's reiterate this point, folks. Wherever you get your information on possible launch dates for Enterprise and Tranquility, you may want to check with us before you decide, let me tell my family that, whatever agency or whatever website, whatever social media advertise this date. Please, gospel from us, okay? We will confirm anything that you may have heard, and then we will pass it on as the definitive answer. So please float it that way if you don't mind. Let's see.
Yeah, it's probably worthwhile saying what we always say, but even though we always say it, not every ear is tuned to it. Whenever you're deciding to attend a Celestis launch, which is an amazing, worthwhile thing to do, number one, pay close attention to our communications with you about that launch, because as you see with Artemis, as you see with every rocket out there, launch delays can occur. Second, and most importantly, do not purchase unrefundable, non-refundable accommodations, airline tickets, anything like that. Let me say that again. Do not purchase non-refundable accommodations or airline tickets. That's too much of a dice roll for you to do. And third, always build flexibility into your travel attendance plans. As you see right now, again, if you watch the SpaceX launch in Boca Chica, the Starship launch, they are going day for day in rescheduling their launch. You want to give yourself several days of flexibility to attend and not have to worry about, oh, I have to leave before it launches. Those are the realities of spaceflight, and we try very diligently to communicate to two things. One, it's worth it. Two, you have to play the game by the rules of the game, and we've just provided those rules for you.
Yep. Very, very important info that, like Charles has said, that you made your plan well. So we want you there. We don't want you to miss any of our flights. So please, communication is very, very, very important for you to answer your emails. Check your spam. Something may have floated into spam. Make sure you have Celestis' email address in your book, your contact list. You don't want to miss anything, and we hate to receive calls saying, "Well, I wasn't told." We communicate a lot, so please do that. Heed what Charlie has said. All right, we're about 15
we
minutes.
even put on. I was going to say we even put on sketchy live streams from the launch site the 2 days before the launch to inform people.
All right. Just so you guys know, Charlie and Colby are in a hotel somewhere in a deep, dark hole near the launch site, or an hour and a half away from the launch site. And they were using hotel internet. In fact, Colby, you are on hotel internet, right?
I am.
Okay,
it's sketchy, but I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, but you're on your laptop, though, right?
I am on my laptop, yeah.
Okay, so Charles, as you can see from his lousy camera work, that ain't a stationary piece of technology. Okay, the guy that puts rockets into space is giving me a roller coaster ride. All of us a roller coaster ride. My stomach's a little queasy watching you right now, Charles. He's on his phone.
That's right.
He could not hook up to the internet system. He could, but it was bad. So that's our team.
Well, what I'll say is as I say, it's worth it. I am really looking forward to the launch pad tour tomorrow afternoon. That's something that even for old hands who've gone to shuttle launches and other type launches, they don't ever get as close as the rocket as we're going to get tomorrow. And that's a really special part of the Aurora flight. We will take lots of good video to share with you. Of course, all of our missions, we produce a comprehensive professional video at the end of the mission and deliver that for download for all of our clients and interested folks. So we always have a videographer in tow. But tomorrow's up close and personal launch tour is
there he goes again.
To remember, one of the best ways to remember a loved one is to be able to stand there literally 25 feet away from that nose cone of that rocket and say the last goodbye. It's a very touching memorial that no one else on the planet provides.
Our team has brought up a very important point that I know you've mentioned a million times, Charlie, and you will mention it a million times more because it's important, and that is trying to film a launch on your phones or whatever instrument you have.
Yeah, that's always part of my pre-launch briefing, which is don't watch this through a camera lens. Don't try to take a picture of a machine that moves at Mach 6. Just sit there and watch it. We have tons of professional video that we'll take of the launch. So for our attendees who come, they'll hear me say that tomorrow at the pre-launch briefing.
Sure. It's definitely important to repeat. If you folks that are in attendance in New Mexico right now as we speak, and any of our future launches that's come up, it's important to have memorabilia. If you lost a loved one, like I lost my mom, and I didn't have all of the things that I thought I would find from from my mom, things such as this fantastic patch. Okay, I'm sure they're in attendance in New Mexico right now for the Aurora launch. But we have a guy that does incredible artwork, and each patch for each mission means something. So if you feel you haven't picked up a patch or any sort of memorabilia you may have for this historic launch, historic to you, historic to us, I wish you would consider trying to grab something from your visit. And from this, because after this, you can order it on our website basically at any time, but to actually have it there at the time you've sent your loved one up I think is a little bit more symbolic instead of after the fact. So make sure you do that. You guys are set up there, Colby, with memorabilia and stuff.
Yeah, in fact, yes. So registration starts at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, but we were able to get set up pretty much today. So we're going to be there an hour early. Our team's going to be downstairs at the Encanto Hotel in the San Rafael room, where we're going to have registration and the memorial service. So if you want to come in early at 8:30, you can register. You can pick up your patch, your pin. We'll have all that stuff to sell there. So, yeah, we'll be ready to go out an hour earlier than expected. So if anybody wants to come in early, they're more than welcome to.
Right. I hate for any family members think that this is a one and done and they may miss out on all of that. In fact, you can track your mission, shall I say, through our through our website, and know exactly. And of course, this is the Earthrise flight anyway, isn't it, Colby? This is the Earthrise.
That's correct. It's the Earthrise.
Got it. Okay. Let's see. I don't see anything. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. That's just reiterating what Colby just said. So you guys, there's the name of the hotel. And hey, I remember that Encanto Hotel, I think. Charlie, did we stay there once before? Charlie? Oh, okay. I
did back in the mid 1980s when I was working with Deke launching rockets out of White Sands. I don't remember that. Yes, we did. We did do a up aerospace mission out of Encanto.
Okay, exactly. I thought I remembered the name of that hotel. Had a great bar. Okay, so Hotel Encanto. All right, I can, unless anyone's going to pop up real quick with any other additional questions here, I really can't think of anything else to add. Unless Charles and Colby has something they want to make light of before.
People can direct all their questions to our custom CS1 at Celestis.com, and we've moved our customer service department out here for this launch, and we're on all questions. Also, if you see us in the hotels, say hello.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yep, looking forward to seeing new faces and seeing faces that we met in November.
Okay, James, you're more than welcome. This is what we do. So enjoy the launch, you guys. Is this a good spot to go ahead and end it, Charles?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Enjoy the launch, guys, in 2 days, and enjoy the team out there. Enjoy each other. Godspeed on this launch coming up, the Aurora launch, and then we'll really, not like we've stopped thinking heavily about our next launches. We do that constantly, even when we're at launches. But other than that, let's see, what is this here?
CelestisPets.com, Rick. We do.
We do. We already have that covered.
We launched three pets last Friday.
Oh, did you really?
We sure did.
I didn't know that was passengers on that. So there you go, Rick. Mic drop. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck on this flight. I'll see you guys soon, especially down here at the Cape. Other than that, folks, we're going to go ahead and end our broadcast. It doesn't mean you have to end your questions. Send them along. We're still answering questions even when we're not on air. So thank you, guys. Safe launch. We'll be talking to you folks soon. Boss 1, Boss 2. See you later, okay?
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, everyone.
Sounds good.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
This is the launch conductor in Mission Control. We pause at this moment in our countdown to remember and honor the lives of each of the participants on the Celestis Memorial Spaceflight. Their presence on this flight signifies a commitment to the opening of the space frontier shared by all of us. We wish the friends and families present today and all those who are with us in spirit all over the world Godspeed, good luck, and our thanks for allowing us to share this very personal time with you today. Elsie out. 5 vehicles armed. 3, 2, 1, fire.